Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be talking about something that is a little bit controversial, but I think it's going to help out every single business owner that's thinking about hiring an ad agency to run their ads. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, the first thing I want to address, and it is going to be the elephant in the room, which is we are an ad agency. So what I do say will have a little bit of a bias, but I do want to give you both sides of the story and give you some perspective that you may not have seen otherwise. So when you're thinking about hiring an ad agency for your ads, obviously it's a very important decision, well, because ad agencies are expensive, right? They have big retainers and sometimes even a percentage of either spend or the results. So there is a lot of money on the table when you're talking about ad agencies. So we want to figure out if this investment is worth it. So first thing off the bat, I want to make sure that for you guys to get the most out of whatever ad agency that you're going to go with is that you need to make sure that the ad agency is going to meet your specific needs. If it doesn't, it's not going to be worth it, right? No matter how you slice it. What do I mean by this? So as a business owner, you have to really figure out what are your needs when you're out there looking for an ad agency. Are you a business owner that has absolutely no time for ads? Like you're swarmed with all the work, you would rather be working on your product or your service, talking to the customers, and you just can't be bothered by ads? Well, that's a certain type of need, right? The other might be is not that you don't want to bother with ads, it's just, financially irresponsible of you to be working on ads. Like the time you invest in managing the ads may not be worth your time. Another scenario might be that you just don't have the knowledge when it comes to running ads, and that's why you're looking for an ad agency to come in and kind of bridge that gap, right? Just because you don't really know how to run ads. Or you might be an agency, you have the time to run ads, you have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to running ads on various platforms, but you just don't have the creative capabilities, right? You don't know how to make the ads, you don't have fancy cameras, and you don't know how to produce voiceovers and all that stuff. You have no idea what kind of ads actually sell on various platforms, right? So you want to make sure whatever agency that you're partnering with is actually going to be looking after those needs, right? So with the last example I gave, like maybe you're an entrepreneur or a business owner that has no creative capabilities. Well, the agency that you hire, you want to make sure that they're able to produce ads for you, right? Now, not a lot of agencies do this, and this is one thing to keep in mind, right? Sometimes some agencies will only manage ads, whereas the other agencies, they will produce the ads as well. They'll manage the creative, whether it's image ads, static banner ads, or video ads, right? So you want to make sure whoever you're signing up with has those capabilities. And conversely, if you and your business team are really good at making ads, well, you don't want to sign up for an agency that's going to dilute that process, right? And you don't want to be paying for services you don't need. So once you match your needs with your internal business capabilities and you have those needs aligned, then I think we can move on to the next step, right? Just that's the base of if agencies are going to be worth it to you guys or not. So here's the general rule of thumb, right? Ad agencies typically become more worth it, so to say, the more you spend, right? The higher you spend, the more an agency becomes worth it, right? The more impact they will drive to your business, well, the higher you spend, right? It's pretty obvious, that correlation. So what do I mean specifically with ad agencies, right? And when it comes to finances, well, generally, the smaller your spend is, the less you're going to be paying in fees, whether it's through, a retainer model or a percentage of spend or something like that. When you're working with smaller budgets, you're going to get a smaller agency, which will drive less impact to your business, right? And the converse is absolutely true, where the more you spend, the more impact an ad agency will have on your business. So one of the reasons why an agency starts becoming worth it the more you spend is because a good agency, and I'm going to emphasize a good agency, brings attention to detail, right? This is a far more level of attention to detail than a single business owner or an entrepreneur would. Because to be honest, the only thing the ad agency focuses on is the ads part, right? They're not busy running their business. They're not busy about customer support. They're not busy about fulfilling their customers and orders. The only thing that they're paying attention to is the ads. So naturally, they'll bring in a much higher level of detail and attention to detail. So another thing a good agency will bring to the table is experience with tactics and strategies, right? Obviously, if an agency all they do is they work on ads, what they're going to be able to do is take a look at what's been working on that ad platform and what the changes are, and bring in strategies that really impact your business, right? And these are things that because they're working in the ad accounts all day, all the time, they're going to be able to pick up on these things, and they're going to be translating that into your ad account, right? So what do I mean by that? I'll give a quick example. So one of the most common mistakes I see, especially on Facebook ads, is when a solo business owner or like an in-house person is running ads, they'll often check off certain things like expanded audiences and stuff, or like they'll let the ads run just everywhere and they don't cap ads. Little things like that actually waste a lot of spend, right? Majority of the time, those settings don't actually translate into good results. An experienced and good ad agency will know that you won't be running your traffic to those sources, right? The expanded sources, maybe certain types of devices, right? Where they've seen that there are a money sink. So they're gonna be saving you a ton of money there. And it's this experience that you're actually paying for when it comes to an ad agency, right? So that you don't fall into the common pitfalls that other businesses fall into. It's because the agencies have had experience and can make sure that you go to your results faster. So another benefit of an experienced agency is that they're going to be able to bring in strategies that have worked for other clients, right? This is called cross-client strategy. And this is super valuable, especially if your agency that you're partnering up with has clients like yours in other niches, right? So if you have a specific type of company or business, you want to make sure that the ad agency is actually working with similar businesses, because they're going to be able to bring in all of the strategies that are working for all of the other clients into your ad account. And this is great, right? And this is something that most in-house media buyers can't really do, because they're only working on one ad account, right? Because an ad agency sees several ad accounts, they can identify patterns in certain accounts and translate them into other accounts. And this is super beneficial, right? So with YouTube ads, we kind of saw this happening a couple of years ago with target CPA campaigns. And we saw that working with a couple of our clients. And we realized, oh, okay, this is a new experience tactic that we can actually start bringing over to the rest of our clients, because we've seen this work, right? Especially the ones in the same niches. And what it turned out was now target CPAs are one of our most effective tools in our arsenal when we're managing ads. So this is just one example of how we can take things that are working in other ad accounts and apply them to your ad account. Within the same breadth of things, another thing I want to mention is that ad agencies, because they're focusing on one specific thing, they're basically living inside ad accounts, they're going to be a lot more focused on the changes on the actual platform, right? So ad platforms, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, they're constantly changing. They're bringing out new ad types, new regulations, and a whole bunch of changes that happen very rapidly. And if you aren't on top of these, you might miss out on big gains, right? Or you might not be able to save your ad accounts when some of these changes happen. And this is where agencies really have the upper hand, right? Because they're doing this on a day-to-day basis. This is actually what they do. They're, a good agency will stay on top of the changes so they can respond and adapt to these changes as fast as possible. You're going to get the most out of this with an experienced agency, right? So a great example of this is something that's recently happened with YouTube ads, which is recently they introduced a new type of ad, which is the discovery ad on the home page, right? When you log into YouTube's home page, now there's an ad at the top left, firstmost position. Now, not everybody has access to this, and this is something that's only been released to certain ad agencies in beta, right? So our agency was able to get first access to this new type of ad, and we were able to like mess around with it and test it out, and it turned out this type of ad, especially for discovery ads, is an absolute home run. And we only got access to this because we're an ad agency and we're managing multiple ad accounts, right? So we got access to this exciting beta, this brand new change that I don't think most other in-house media buyers or single solo entrepreneurs did get a chance to. And now we've been starting to experiment and use this type of ad a lot more. And that's where I think the value when it comes to ad agencies is, right? So when an ad agency is able to bring in their experience across all different fields, they're super focused just on ads, they're not diluted with a whole bunch of other things, they will be able to keep your ad account in its tip-top position. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is one of probably the most important point, is ad agencies, they're measured on KPIs. And because digital marketing is such a metrics dependent field, this is something we can test out very easily. So what I recommend to you is, if you're on the fence about hiring an ad agency or not, just pull the trigger and measure the results of the ad agency. The results are going to be black and white, right? There's going to be very little ambiguity when it comes to the results of the ad agency. Simply put, if you are getting a certain result before an ad agency and you give them the ad accounts, and after a certain while they aren't able to match those results or go above, then obviously the ad agency is not worth it. And this is something we can measure with our conversion tracking very, very easily. It's very simple to do that, right? So for example, if you were getting a 2x ROAS without an ad agency, and you bring them in and you let them run your ads for a couple of months and they're not able to get a 2x ROAS or higher, well, then that means that ad agency was not effective. And that's the cool part about digital marketing. You can get the answer to this relatively quickly, right? Within a couple of months. And that's going to be a huge factor when determining if an ad agency is worth it specifically for your business, right? So what do I recommend? Just pull the trigger, see how the ad agency does, let them have a little bit of spend. If they produce great results, awesome. If they don't, well, it was only a little bit of spend and you know that they didn't work out within the first few months, right? There's not a lot of downside here. So I hope I made it a compelling case when it comes to ad agencies and why you might want to opt in for one and why it might be worth the initial testing just in case the upside is huge. So that's the end of the video, and before we leave, if I could ask a huge favor from you guys, which is to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I know it means a lot to the team, so I hope you guys are engaging with the content. I hope the content that we're putting out is beneficial to you guys, and if there's something you guys would like to see in these videos, please drop it in the comments below. I'm taking a look at it every single day, so I appreciate the feedback. With that, peace.